I just heard about it, so, you know, I'm sorry it happened. I hope it doesn't happen around here.
I just felt sorry for all the kids that had to go through this.
This is where the money from the Capital Region is going, to the Hospital Disaster Fund.
Just knowing that the people of the United States and the people of Albany, New York care about us, love us, are concerned about us, are praying for us, that's what we really need more than anything else.
April 19th, 1995. 6 years before 9/11, a terrorist attack the likes of which the country had never seen. A truck bomb exploded outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. A third of the building immediately sheared off as the inside floors collapsed. 168 people were killed, including 19 kids at a daycare inside. Many others were hurt. The blast so powerful, it incinerated cars and damaged hundreds of nearby buildings. A Saratoga County woman who worked at a hospital in Oklahoma City described the sound to News Channel 13.
It was like a boom. The ground just shook.
As news broadcasts went wall to wall with the horrific aftermath, Albany's Federal Building stayed open with extra security, but some thought twice before going in.
I'm afraid to go in here. I hope it's safe.
You heard about the bombing?
I heard about it. I saw it on television. Unbelievable devastation.
I had to come down here today, and I was just going to sit outside in the car. I'm just really afraid to go in.
Governor George Pataki tried to calm nerves.
We are not going to let, and the people of New York State cannot let, terrorists change our way of life.
Chuck Schumer, then a congressman, said this was proof Congress should pass his recently introduced anti-terrorism bill, making lethal terrorism a crime punishable by death.
It would make it a lot easier to deport non-citizens who are here and possibly doing terroristic acts. And finally, it would not allow them to come here and raise money for terroristic purposes.
It didn't take long to arrest the suspects. The FBI quickly zeroed in on Timothy McVeigh, who rented a Ryder truck. McVeigh was quickly found already in jail. He was stopped 90 minutes after the bombing for having a missing license plate and was found with a concealed gun. McVeigh's hatred for the government believed to have fueled the unimaginable horror. His friend Terry Nichols, arrested soon after, accused of helping him build the bomb. As word of the arrest spread, online chats started to spring up. Much like Reddit or Facebook now, AOL was king back then, and News Channel 13 entered some chat rooms to see what people were saying.
There's a lot of concern about phony bomb threats being phoned in by cranks.
Those copycat people annoy me to no end. This is getting out of hand.
As for sentiments about bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh,
I think that bomber should be sentenced to the death penalty.
We heard there were people on the net who were expressing sympathy for the bombers, so we tried to draw them out by asking if anybody believed those arrested so far were being framed. Nobody took the bait.
Get real, WNYT. They were just asking.
1,500 miles from Oklahoma City, kids and adults in the Capital Region wanted to do something to help. A bake sale in Ballston Spa, a car wash in Latham, a tree planted in honor of the victims at Westmere Elementary School in Guilderland, and 19 trees outside the Niskayuna Library, one for each child who was killed.
Each tree will have a tag tied to it bearing the name of one of the young victims of the bombing. A picture will be taken and sent to that child's family in Oklahoma.
Students at Veeder Elementary in Latham made 120 cards and posters for people in an Oklahoma City hospital. A shy girl named Crystal came up with this idea.
So what'd your card say?
Get well soon.
This giant 24 by 36 inch card was made by a Clifton Park woman and made the rounds at 3 area malls. A Capital Region radio station and hospital teamed up to collect donations at Crossgates. Brian Jackson, who was in between stints as a reporter at News Channel 13, actually owned the radio station.
How has the response been since this started?
Overwhelming, to say the least. Since we began this about 48 hours ago, we have collected, and we're still counting, somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000.
Some even flew to Oklahoma City to deliver gifts in person. Here's Chris Kapastashi.
9 days and thousands of miles removed from the Oklahoma City bombing, tears of shared grief are still close to the surface for many Capital Region residents. It's just that kind of compassion that sparked an outpouring of support for a local fund drive to aid the bombing victims. Even before sunrise today, a crowd gathered at the airport for a send-off. $30,000 was going to Oklahoma City with Paca, mascot of this mission of hope.
And she represents all of us. She's white and pure and the symbol of what everything in Oklahoma stands for at this point in time.
Children at the Chicago airport bore that out, hugging Paca, while strangers gave hundreds of dollars more in donations. These kids loved him too, at St. Anthony's Hospital, just 4 blocks from the bomb site. This is where the money from the Capital Region is going, to the Hospital Disaster Fund.
So just knowing that the people of the United States and the people of Albany, New York, care about us, love us, are concerned about us, are praying for us, that's what we really need more than anything else. And that's been really what sustained us through this period, knowing that there are people like that out there.
Convicted bomber Timothy McVeigh sat in jail for 6 years, but in 2001 he eventually paid the ultimate price, dying by lethal injection. That sparked more protests among a divided nation, the Capital Region no exception.
Lord, hear our prayer.
People gathered at the state capitol the day before the execution to pray for both the victims and Timothy McVeigh. Bishop Howard Hubbard standing in solidarity.
We feel that taking of a life, even when someone is obviously guilty, as in the case of McVeigh, is not the answer to deal with terrorism and violence within our society.
The next day, as McVeigh was being put to death, people were back at the Capitol. They read all the names of the 168 victims and made their voices heard through song.
Why do we kill people who are killing people to show that killing people is wrong?
They also called on New York Governor George Pataki to rethink his decision to bring the death penalty back here. Pataki not budging, saying it was a critical weapon in New York's arsenal against violent crime.
The governor also says if ever there was a case crying out for the death penalty, it was the case against Timothy McVeigh.
A jury deadlocked on the death penalty for McVeigh's co-conspirator Terry Nichols. He's still alive, serving life in prison without parole. As for the site of the bombing, it's now a memorial with chairs for each of the 168 people killed. The Capital Region also has its own memorial, a tree planted outside the Leo O'Brien Federal Building in Albany in 1999. Then, Congressman Mike McNulty summing it up like this.
If the mentally unbalanced people who caused that tragedy had lived in this region, that could have been us.
The Oklahoma City bombing was considered the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil before 9/11, and to this day remains the worst act of homegrown terrorism in United States history. To learn more about how News Channel 13 covered some of the biggest historical events of our time, head to our News Channel 13 YouTube page and click on News Vault 13. For now, opening News Vault 13, I'm Rachel Teedy.